welcome back to the capsule. Today we thought that we would just do something a little bit different. We see her all the time on our IGTV. She's also on our podcast every week, but we just wanted to get to know our Anna just a little bit more. So here she is, our gorgeous Anna Mewes.
Hello.
All right.
Yes, I'm good, and you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to get to know you a little bit more. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
I know her.
Yes.
But just to tell everybody at home all about what it is you actually do, you know, about your job, a bit more about you, Anna.
Yes.
So, firstly, how did you get into personal styling?
So I have been a stylist for, what we're in now, 2020, so about 8 years now, and it's not what I've always done, and in fact I never envisaged working as a stylist at all when I was growing up. I wanted to be a journalist, I loved writing, I did a degree in English and sociology and kind of fell into the world of marketing and advertising from there. But that job, I'd always loved clothes, I think, like many girls do. You know, I loved clothes. I was always very conscious about what was on trend and all of that kind of thing. So there was always that interest for clothes. But I don't think it ever occurred to me that I could do it as a job. Just didn't really even come into my, you know, consciousness particularly. I fell into marketing but worked for GHD latterly. And that brand, who do the hair straighteners, if you've not heard of them, they're very fashion involved, and so I did their TV and their print campaigns and just became really immersed in this world of styling, both through hair care and fashion. And just occurred to me that actually I could do this for a living in some form, so either shoot styling as a fashion stylist or on a one-to-one basis. And when I got pregnant with my son, who is now going to be 8 in May, I decided to retrain. I loved my job in marketing, but it was very inflexible and I travelled a lot.
And that's hard, isn't it? Like when you've got children. I mean, you know, it's when you really, really want to have your career, but at the same time you want to be a really hands-on parent. It's hard. So you have to, I suppose, diversify and find something that makes you feel equally fulfilled.
And that was it. It was trying to find something that fulfilled me. And I loved my job in marketing so much. And it was then that the idea of becoming a stylist formed. So I trained when I was pregnant. I set my business up when he was 1. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Were you always like the super stylish cool girl at school?
No, I think absolutely not. And I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about what I do. I definitely wasn't. And in fact, if anyone watching this knew me when I was growing up, I was like really awkward. I was very tall and gangly and a bit of a geek, a proper goody two-shoes. I was happy, but I was never like one of the cool girls at all.
Neither was I.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Looking back at the time, I was like, oh, I want to be in the cool gang. But now, actually, I had the loveliest friends, and I was really happy. But I was a bit of a geek. But that's kind of why I love my job. Geek chic. It's a thing before I even knew it. But I think that's one of the reasons why I love my job, because I think sometimes we might feel like fashion isn't for us, or we can't carry off a certain look or a certain trend or whatever. And actually, I'm living proof that you don't have to act or be or look a certain way to dress in a way that makes you feel amazing. And so I was never that cool growing up. I'm still not that cool now, and that's totally fine. Because it's your own interpretation of clothes and style. And I didn't understand that when I was growing up, that actually it doesn't have to be what you see on a magazine or in you know, on the catwalk.
Yeah, I mean, fashion is such a freedom of expression. You know, I say this all the time, and as you said, it can feel so far away from us, especially when you look at, you know, the very high fashion campaigns, and, you know, particularly when people are represented, especially. But I think that is what you do so well, is that you bring it to the everyday person, and that it involves everybody's shape. And is that something as well that you enjoy, dressing body shapes?
Yes, and I think we come in so many different shapes and sizes, and even the slimmest person will come to me, or the fittest person will come to me and have body hang-ups, and then I'll have someone who's more plus size, who's so confident, and it's lovely to see that diversity and dress different body shapes in a way that shows off their best bits and makes you feel really, really confident. And that actually has nothing to do with how big or small you are. It's to do with your mindset and how you embrace what you've been given, basically, and make the most of it.
I mean, you've said before yourself, in terms of when you had your children, like you kind of lost yourself a bit, lost your style mojo, as you describe it. How did you, talk me through that? How did it happen? And B, how did you get yourself back from there?
I think it was a couple of things, and anyone who's had kids or been through weight loss, weight gain, or anything that's kind of disrupts your lifestyle or changes things for you, you can just lose your way a little bit. And I think for me, it was after my second child, so I've got two, it was after my youngest, that I felt like I'd lost my way a little bit. And I'd gained a bit of weight, not a lot, but a bit, enough for me to beat myself up about it, and started this vicious cycle. I'm not going to buy new clothes because I'm not the size I want to be. So then I either had big clothes from when I was pregnant or clothes that were too small from when I, before. So nothing fit me very well, which meant I didn't feel good, which meant that was like a downward spiral into not really looking after myself all that well, because I didn't feel particularly good.
I mean, we all do it, don't we, in terms of when you've been a certain size and you felt really good, and then, like you say, you won't venture into the shops to go, or acknowledge that you might have put on weight or gained a size. You'll be like clinging on to that previous size, even if that was unhealthy for you. It's just that if you go and reach for the,
whatever
the size bigger, it's like, there's a weird attachment of like I failed or something like that to it that you bring in.
And I think because of what I did for a living as well, I was like, this is like, I can't even do this for myself. So it was that whole loss of self-confidence as well, that even as someone who is trained and should know the answers to making myself feel good again, I didn't feel at the time able to employ them. And it was my husband actually who was like, this is ridiculous, go and buy some new clothes that fit you. And actually that was the catalyst then. I went and bought a few things. They were a size bigger, but you know what, they looked a million times better, which meant I felt better. And that then was like, I felt more confident. So I started to treat myself a bit better, because that internal dialogue had become a bit more positive rather than being negative. And that's what I see with my clients a lot. I'll get people who get in touch and say, I want to book in for 12 months time because I want to lose weight, and then I'm going to come and see you. And I'm like, please book in now, because I will help you on whatever journey you're going on, and you shouldn't put off feeling good about yourself for reaching a certain height.
Do you think that we should just get rid of clothes sizes?
Yeah, because trust me, I go shopping with women several times a week in all different stores, and no one woman I shop with wears the same size clothes in every single store. They mean absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
They don't mean anything.
This is the thing, I'm sure you guys have done it as well. You go into a certain shop and you're whatever size you are, and then you'll go into another shop and you'll be like a different size, and you think, how did that happen? I think it would be so refreshing if they just got rid of sizes altogether, and then we just wore what we felt comfortable in.
Well, that's it. And I think once we start to wear things we feel comfortable in, you feel good about yourself, and it's got nothing to do with the number on the scale or in the back of your jeans. There's no standardised measurements across even the UK or Europe for shops to use, which means that, I can be an extra large in one side, in one shop, and then I'll be a small in another, and it's like, well, how can this be possible? I don't understand. I would love to get rid of clothes sizes, definitely.
Let's get on to that.
Let's do it.
We're going to do that. We're going to campaign for that. Tell me a bit more as well about what you love about your job.
I think the biggest thing, everyone, when you say to them, I'm a personal stylist, a lot of people are like, oh, you get to go shopping for a living, that must be so much fun. Yes, it is, and yes, I do. But the thing I love the most, and the thing I've learned on the journey from starting out as someone who was fairly body confident when I trained, because I hadn't had the kids at that point, to someone who's been on a bit of a journey with self-love and body confidence, is being able to help women see themselves through my eyes. So when they come to me and they're like, I don't feel good, I don't like myself, they've usually told me within a few minutes bits that they're really uncomfortable with. If I can help them and lift them up a little bit or just helps them to see that they can feel and look good, that's the greatest job satisfaction of all, definitely.
I think when you've been in that place yourself, you know, when you've been in a place of despair even, or, you know, feeling sad or just not very confident, when you see somebody else's face sparkle because you've made them feel good, like you say, it is the greatest gift, and you just think, you don't feel, you know that they don't feel in that dark place anymore, and it's a lovely feeling.
It's hugely rewarding, and I think that's why I'm really passionate about us never being made to feel frivolous or shallow for wanting to feel our best, because we are totally worth feeling good and investing, whatever that is for you, whether that's a gym, eating well, getting clothes that make you feel good, that is worth so much, because it has this huge ripple effect, and it's, you know, using your personal style as a form of self-care is something I talk about a lot. And that for me is the biggest job satisfaction. That and a beautifully organised wardrobe makes me so happy.
I don't have that.
Okay, I'll come and sort yours out then.
You definitely need to sort mine out. But so just you know, going forward as well, in terms of shopping and clothes that, you know, make us feel a certain way, how do you deal with it when people are on a budget?
I think my philosophy, whatever the budget is to buy less and choose well. So even if someone doesn't have a lot of money to spend, what we will do is identify the key pieces that they need in their wardrobe that they're going to wear a lot of, and therefore possibly need to spend a little bit more to get the quality. And then we'll fill in the gaps with slightly less expensive items that they can then rotate in to get the variety. But that would be the same if someone had a budget of £1,000 or £100. That's how I work with all of my clients. It's key pieces, you spend a bit more, and then seasonal pieces that may be a little bit more on trend, so they might not be worn or have the longevity for quite so long. We don't spend so much on. And then getting creative. So we wear about 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So a lot of the time, and a lot of the things I ask my clients to do, especially if we've done a wardrobe session, one of the first things I'll say to them is, right, now we've got rid of all the clutter and we know everything in here fits and you feel good in, I want you to wear everything once before you wear the same thing again. And just that exercise makes you realise how much more you've got, and you don't actually need a lot.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's revisiting pieces in your wardrobe, because you go, oh, I can't be bothered with that. And then sometimes you might need to relook at it and need somebody like you know, who's got a stylist's eye and can go, oh, you know, this shirt, it would look great with those jeans. And I'd be like, oh, really? I never would have thought of putting them together, but having a professional eye over what you already own, I suppose, as well.
The fresh perspective helps massively. The addition of a few accessories, belting things, little style tricks, tucks, rolls, all of that kind of thing can breathe new life into a wardrobe, absolutely. So you don't need a lot of money to look and feel really good.
Absolutely. Well, I am very excited because we will have a few different events coming up this year, and Anna will be there live and doing her thing. So definitely stay tuned, because we've got lots and lots and lots of things coming up with Anna in the next few months. See you soon.